This episode of the Shooting Star Press Podcast brought to you by Audible. Audible.com is the place to get your favorite books. This week, I'm telling you, you need to check out Audible at the link below and grab a copy of the book American Gods. It's the book that the show on, I think it's Stars, is based. It's about a ex-convict named Shadow Moon dealing with his recent life changes after leaving prison and getting associated with rather interesting group of people, including a man named Wednesday who has a rather sinister bent. Check it out with the link at the description below. Audible.com. And go. Welcome everybody to the Shooting Star Press, your source for the latest in wrestling news. That's right. Welcome to the Shooting Star Press Podcast. That's right. You're here with Lee Craft. That's right. Best guy in the world. Best guy in the building. Best guy around. And then we've also got your favorite wrestler's favorite podcaster. That's right, Ryan Cloud.
What's up?
What's good, Ryan Cloud? How you going?
Everything's good, man, except for the rain. The rain's not so good, but everything else is pretty good.
I mean, rain's okay. Rain, go away. I don't know. Rain is a good thing. Makes corn whiskey.
Close enough.
Something. You know what I'm saying.
Makes water. You know, it happens.
Yeah. So, I know it's been a week since our last show. Or no, I guess it'd be 2 weeks because we missed last week's show. How was your party with your lady? I know y'all had a little party y'all had to go hang out with.
Yeah, we had a little baby shower, you know, for baby Dante. Everything went good. It was good.
I can dig it. Y'all are you and the Hardys. They're having babies. You're having babies. You gotta give them a name like Prince Dante.
Nope.
You know, like
nope. Just Dante.
King Maxwell. And then they can fight. I don't know their new baby's name, but yeah, they're having a baby too. Rebby Hardy tweeted out she's just now getting the stretch marks and enjoying the life of becoming a mom type of thing. Even though she's already got a baby, but you get what I'm saying. So I get that you and Matt Hardy, y'all are like kindred spirits, right?
We're like one.
So you are the broken gimmick.
I am.
All right. So yeah, speaking of the Hardys, are you pumped for Extreme Rules coming up this weekend?
I am pumped. I would make a joke about how many pay-per-views we've seen, but at this point it's just redundant.
You don't even have to make that joke because Forbes magazine made it a joke this past week. But we'll talk about that in the rumor section a little later.
I mean, it's a running joke at this point. I mean, so many pay-per-views, but
yep.
There's potential there. I mean, we've got some good matches. We got some good gimmicky matches. Obviously, it's Extreme Rules, but there's some things to work with. WWE Creative didn't do a terrible job with this, minus a kendo stick on a pole match. But that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, I mean, I like kendo sticks. I like poles. I like pretty women, but I don't know if I like pretty women climbing poles to get kendo sticks. But we'll see. We will see.
You never know till you try it, I guess. I don't know.
Okay then. Speaking of trying, what do you want to try? What do you want to try out first? We got a couple things on the menu. We got some SmackDown. We got some Raw. We got some Ring of Honor. We even have some Lucha Underground this week.
Finally.
That's great. little spicy from south of the border. And that's probably one of the best things this week. But we'll get there when we get there. So where do you want to start?
Might as well go ahead and start with this lead up to Extreme Rules. I mean, it's pay-per-view
Extreme Mules.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cows.
Sounds
everywhere.
like a game. Sounds like a game on PlayStation. Like the Goat Simulator, but with mules.
I'm gonna copyright that. Don't nobody be trying to steal my stuff.
I like it. All right. So, yeah, Extreme Mules. Sounds like fun.
Sounds exciting. But might as well go ahead and start off, with what everybody's going to be talking about. Is the fatal 5-way match for a chance to go battle Brock Lesnar at Great Balls of Fire.
Oh no, I was doing WrestleMania. I meant to do Great Balls of Fire. I meant to do some Johnny Cash, but it didn't work. I went the wrong direction. Anyway, so yes, Samoa Joe. It doesn't quite work as well.
No.
Samoa Joe, yes, that he is definitely the one that has the most momentum going into this coming up pay-per-view, and that's the best way to put it. I mean, if only Finn Balor were the person, though.
Yeah, sad day. I mean, I don't know. Samoa Joe, which over these past 2 weeks, I mean, he's really been the one to shine as far as the competitors go. I mean, he's walking into Extreme Rules undefeated at this point. And I do feel like Samoa Joe is one of the money fights that could come out of this if he wins at Extreme Rules. I mean, him and Brock Lesnar, that's a fight that I would like to watch. Brock Lesnar, Finn Balor is another one. I mean, Finn Balor's kind of been lost in the shuffle a little bit in the lead up. Of course, he fights Carl Anderson in a one-off match.
That was weird.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I don't really get the booking strategy there, but then he comes and loses to Samoa Joe in that triple threat match. So he's kind of been on the fritz a little bit as far as this lead up goes. And of course, you also have Roman Reigns, and I don't think anybody would be surprised if Roman Reigns wins, but I don't think that many people are hoping Roman Reigns wins.
Oh, everybody loves Roman Reigns. He's the best. He is the fan favorite. I can't even finish that. I'm sorry.
He's the guy.
It's his yard. He is the big dog, and the big dog is gonna bark. I don't know how well he bites though. And I don't know how well he barks either. Really, gosh. But yeah, who do you think has the most? Whose stock goes up the most by winning the Fatal 5-Way?
Oh, I think, no doubt that it has to be Samoa Joe. I mean, he's kind of been in and out of this whole little thing with Seth Rollins, and we've both talked on this show about how that storyline is getting a little bit repetitive. We don't really know why Samoa Joe's after Seth Rollins or vice versa, because Seth's already slayed the king. So, and Triple H is nowhere to be seen. So I don't really know why that's still going. So if Samoa Joe wins at Extreme Rules, then I think he definitely gets his stock definitely is going to rise the most at this point.
So he would be the one that gets the rub from the win, most likely. Yeah, I could see that. I could definitely see his stock going up the most, then possibly followed by Finn Balor, because he is, like you said, he's kind of adrift. He's out in the middle of nowhere, and him taking on, I don't know, it felt weird that they had him take on, was it Anderson?
Yeah.
Yeah. It felt weird they had him take on Anderson. Like, I don't know, they know, the creative has to know that we want to see Balor Club, The Club, Bullet Club, any of club things. And they know that's going to get a big pop, but putting them against each other, they know it's going to get a good pop, but kind of a strange pop. If you get what I'm saying? And they're trying. It feels like they're just trying to capitalize off that, but without it helping any kind of storyline. And we've got the club is floundering too right now with the Shamesaro. That's what we call it, Shamesaro. Shamesaro versus Hardy's thing going on, and nobody else in the actual tag division doing anything. So I mean, it feels like they have to get them on there, but they don't know how. So they're just like, let's pull some random names out of a hat. Oh, Finn Balor and Carl Anderson, or Finn Balor and insert any random other person, and kind of that's what it feels like.
Yeah, and like you said, they're definitely piggybacking off this club idea, and, playing off the fact that everybody knows that we're members of the Bullet Club.
They're all best buddies.
Yeah, but they're not really talking about it in the WWE, so they're just it's kind of got that dynamic to it. Like, we're gonna throw them together, let them fight, and not really mention the Bullet Club, type of thing.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Like, it's one of those things where they so badly want to talk about it, and they will say, oh, they fought each other in Japan, and then they'll act like they've never fought each other, or they don't know who they are. They did that when they were talking about Samoa Joe fighting Finn Balor. They were like, oh, they've been in all these different places. They've got the same story, but they don't know each other, or they stuff like that. And they'll say, it's the enemy you don't know. That's what Samoa Joe said about Finn Balor earlier. And I have a feeling that Finn Balor and Samoa Joe have probably fought a couple times on the indie circuit. I don't know. I haven't looked it up, but I have a feeling that they probably have, because they are such big names, or they were such big names on the indie circuit that, I have a feeling that they probably crossed paths a few times, seeing as how Samoa Joe has fought several people that were in the Bullet Club in Ring of Honor and in TNA. So I don't know. It feels like occasionally they want to play it up, and then for 5 minutes, oh wait, we forgot. They've never been in there. We forgot that they have a past before WWE. So I don't know. It seems just kind of awkward sometimes, and I don't know. Maybe it's just the nature of how WWE wants to play things, but it just seems awkward as all get out occasionally.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's a thing. That's all I could say about that. So who do you think? I'm not gonna say who do you think earns the least from winning, because we already know who that is. And that's Roman Reigns.
Yeah.
I mean, if he wins, people are still gonna hate him.
Yeah.
That's that. Who do you think suffers the most from losing this fight?
Suffers the most from losing. It's probably, I want to say Bray. Either Bray, the only person that really suffers anything from losing is Bray, because but all he does is lose. And I wish he got a better, he just doesn't get, not him, but he doesn't get what you need to be getting. It's not his fault. It's the way that he gets written. He's the new face of fear, but he is not anything. He's just there to get beat up. He is the most high-end jobber in the world, is what it feels like. And if he loses, he continues to lose. So every loss, that grates on your brand. And I don't know, he probably loses the most or gets the least part of the deal from losing, but it's also par for the course for him. Everybody else is kind of set in a I don't know, kind of a holding pattern, but he is always on the decline. And that I don't know, he's he doesn't fall very much from each loss, but when he loses, he falls some. If you get where I'm going.
I got you, and I could see that. That's definitely a good argument for Bray to be, for his stock to suffer the most from a loss. I would also argue he also suffered the most from this recent roster shakeup. Not recent, it's been a while now, but from the roster shakeup, because he was just kind of starting to get a name for himself on SmackDown as champ, and then he gets thrown into to Raw, where you already have so many big names that it's almost guaranteed that he's going to get lost in the shuffle eventually.
There's too many people on Raw in the first place.
Yeah, I would almost argue that Finn Balor has the most to lose going into this. Like, I don't think that losing for him is necessarily going to, like, cut him off at the knees or anything.
No.
As far as his popularity, everybody still, loves Finn Balor. But just from he won the title on his first title defense, or his first chance for on Raw, and then he gets hurt. He's out for God knows how long.
I think it was 6 months?
6 months, something like that.
Yeah.
And he comes back, and now he's kind of fallen back to the back of the line, almost so to say, as far as the main eventers go.
Yeah.
And now he kind of needs a second, breakout moment. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I see. Let me put on my soothsaying hat, but I think there is something in the works, because Paul Heyman came out and basically picked Finn Balor as the biggest threat to Brock Lesnar. And with that kind of rub, it feels like there is something bigger in the works. Like, if there was such a thing as a transitional, transitional number one contender, whoever wins that is transitional to Finn Balor getting a rub for a while. And we all know this has been confirmed that the actual title is most likely going to be defended at WrestleMania between Reigns and Lesnar. But so everything going on up to this is transitional anyway. But a transition up to that point is possibly whatever this is if Finn loses. And if Finn wins, then he is the number one contender for a while. If you get what I'm saying.
Yeah, I got you. But yeah, I really hope there is something more in the works for Finn. Like you said, it seems that way, and we all want to see Brock Lesnar, Finn Balor. I mean, that's in a weird. I don't want to say it's David versus Goliath, but on a size differential, that kind of thing.
I think that the biggest difference between them is probably the Finn Balor versus Brock Lesnar. I think that would be the biggest size difference between them. And he's not much smaller than Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns, but I think the size differential is just slightly bigger between them. So that would definitely be a good match to watch, if anything. Excuse me.
You good? You good?
Yeah, I was dying for a second.
I got laughing about you dying, but
I got hit by the fire of Balor, just like blah. Anyway.
All right, but yeah, I think that pretty much covers that storyline. As far as do you want to go ahead and pick, guess who's going to win that match?
I want to pick Finn, but I know it's not going to be Finn, just because the way this lead up is going in, I don't see it being Finn, even though he's been basically given the rub by Heyman. It's gonna be, it's not gonna be Reigns, because this is too early in the lead up to WrestleMania for it to be Reigns. So let's go with Samoa Joe.
I would like to say Finn Balor, just because that's where my heart is. Like you said, I don't think it's going to be Reigns. And we've seen Rollins, Brock Lesnar already.
Yeah.
But, who knows? Because we already know that it was supposed to be Braun Strowman and Brock Lesnar before Strowman got hurt. So who knows what they'll do as far as when they start to hit the emergency panic button.
Well, he wants they want a big man versus big man match. That's what they love. So they're all about big mans, big mans, big sweaty men. As WCPW puts it, he's all about big sweaty men. So go ahead, make your call. Who is the biggest sweaty man out of that group?
It's probably Samoa Joe or Roman Reigns. I don't know. I'll go Samoa Joe.
It's gonna be a Samoan. I mean, that's
definitely gonna be a Samoan. That's what it looks like.
Yeah. That's how it is. All right. So I guess that takes us to the Team Extreme match for Extreme Rules and all of that stuff. And I guess if we're calling it, who do you think's going to that?
I think that the Hardys will definitely exit with the titles. It just feels like it's too early for them to lose it. I mean, they just came back. They've had the titles for 2 months?
Yeah. I think just about 2 months.
It's the Hardy, and everyone loves the Hardy Boys. And as much as Cesaro and Sheamus have made this gimmick,
Shamzaro, sir.
Shamzaro, my bad. As much as Shamzaro has made this gimmick last way longer than I thought that it would have. I thought the shelf life on it was going to be a lot faster.
3 weeks. I thought it was going to be 3 weeks.
Yeah. They've made it last longer than I thought it would, but I just don't see why you would want to put the titles on them at this point. I mean, they had the titles for a while as faces, and I don't know. I think for long-term success, the titles either need to be on the Hardys or the Club. And as we mentioned earlier, the Club's not looking too good right now. while this whole storyline is going, they're just kind of off in obscurity somewhere.
Yeah.
So I think the answer is the Hardys. It has to be.
Yeah. Unless, and this doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to lose, but what about #Shamzaro being the reason why Matt gets broken? Or what was it, torn, as he was tweeting out a couple weeks ago. Torn Matt Hardy. Kick to the face, kicks him into the cage. They've got to stop the match for injury time, and he comes back Monday, torn Matt Hardy. What do you think about that?
So you're basically asking me, is it better for the Hardys to win and hold on to the titles, or is it better for the Hardys to lose and Matt Hardy become torn/broken?
Right, but they wouldn't even, since they're the champions, them losing, they wouldn't lose the titles. Champions advantage.
True. Yeah, I would do that. I would take that. I would take anything at this point to have Matt Hardy torn/broken.
I like it. Yeah, that's how I say it goes. Probably not going to go that way because we'll talk about that later in the roundup of the rumors in the rumor mill. But that would be the best way to go about that, I think. So either way, I think the Hardys leave with the title still around their waist.
That would be what was best for business.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Because, like I said, Sheamus, Cesaro, like I said, it's lasted longer than I thought it would. Kudos to them. They made a gimmick work that I didn't think was going to work. And now that they're heels, it's still not that refreshing to me. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Curse you shallow tag team divisions.
Yeah.
as we'll talk about later on SmackDown as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now we can talk about your favorite person in the world, Dean Ambrose.
Oh yeah, I like that guy.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
He's finally defending that IC title.
Yeah.
At Extreme Rules.
Yeah. And he's losing it in the comic book. I bought an issue of the comic book this past week and was reading it. And I don't know, did I tweet? I think I don't know if I sent this as a picture to you or not, but if you haven't gotten a chance to check out the WWE comic book, Dean Ambrose looks like smug Luke Skywalker in it. Go check it out at your local comic shop. If you're in the Nashville area or in the Middle Tennessee area, check out it at The Great Escape. It's a great little place. Not a sponsor. I just got buy my comics there when I buy comics. But he looks like smug Luke Skywalker. I just wanted to bring that up.
Yes, you sent me that photo or that image.
Yeah, it's goofy. And I don't know if you can see the rest of it because I just took a photo of, I think, just Dean Ambrose. But it also had Sasha Banks driving Dean Ambrose's, like, prized car and Brock Lesnar, like, being a mountain and being angry because they're driving away. It is the weirdest thing. And the main rub of the story is Sasha Banks and Charlotte are fighting backstage over the Money in the Bank briefcase. And Dean Ambrose is just trying to leave after having fought a cage match against Seth Rollins. He's just trying to get out of the place, and his battery's dead. So he decides to steal Brock Lesnar's battery out of his big old Chevy pickup. And things do not go very well for Dean Ambrose. It is the most ridiculous thing. Anyway. And Paul Heyman looks like what Abyss's character is now from TNA, which is even funnier. Yes, he looks like Corporate Abyss. It is even funnier. But anyway, Dean Ambrose, man, I mean, I'm glad to see him doing something, and maybe they will stop calling him lazy, because we know he's not lazy. That's basically all I really have for that, though.
Yeah, I mean, it's, like I said, it's good to see him defend the title, and it's good to see The Miz get a chance to win it, but I'm just so surprised that they decided that this was the way to go as far as a storyline. You know, like,
Yeah.
I've said it, I don't know how many times, it's a storyline that was happening on SmackDown. They picked it up and they put it on Raw. And,
Yeah.
you know, at the time, that's just not what we were looking for when we were thinking superstar shakeup.
Yeah, I mean, all they did was they did storyline shakeup too. It's just like, let's just move it.
Yeah, pretty much. And I don't know, sort of like with the tag team titles, I feel like for long-term success of the belt, especially considering, you know, we don't know how often the Universal title is going to be defended from now on with Brock Lesnar, you know, being part-time. And I don't see him losing it anytime soon either.
Nope.
But I feel like The Miz...
He's going to lose it to me, though.
He's going to lose to you?
Yep.
Then me and you Iron Man match, something like that?
Yeah.
Go take a ride on Cloud 9. Anyways.
I ain't even going to touch that.
Don't. Just leave it there. Leave it there. Don't say anything else, or it might be misconstrued. But I think The Miz needs the title. Do you agree The Miz needs the title?
I don't know if The Miz needs the title.
I mean,
but
for the title success, the Miz needs the title.
Well, I mean, they don't necessarily have to put it on The Miz, but if Dean Ambrose were doing Dean Ambrose pre him having the title, then it would be great. Or if they're not going to do that, put it on The Miz. If you get what you see where I'm going with that.
I see where you're going. I don't know. The Miz seems like he's the only heel that gets true heel heat on Raw.
Yeah.
So I feel like that is what the title needs to feel important, I guess you could say. Like, he legitimately made the title feel something other than just a secondary title when he had it on SmackDown.
Yeah,
So,
he made it feel like a premier title. It's not a AAA title, and I don't mean AAA the wrestling promotion. I mean like AAA like basketball, baseball, AAA division, minor league title. When he had it, it was a premier title. It was what people strive for, just because of the way he presented himself. And if Dean Ambrose presented himself the way he did before he had the title, when he was chasing it, then it would still be a premier title. But now they're trying to make it like a goofy title when he's got it, and it just doesn't work for it at all.
yeah, I mean, like you said before, he's not defended it since he's had it, to my knowledge. He might have defended it once. I don't know.
I think he defended it once.
And that's not a way to build a title's rep back to what it used to be. And
Exactly.
And it's not his fault. It's the way the WWE booked it. I mean, you can't blame him. But because of the way the WWE booked it, I feel like it needs to come off of him. Which, like I say, is not his fault. It's WWE's fault, but it needs to come off of him. The Miz would be a good person to lose it to. If not the Miz, I don't really know who else. Maybe Seth Rollins or something like that, because Seth Rollins if he doesn't win Extreme Rules, Seth Rollins doesn't really have much else to do. So
yeah, I wouldn't put it on Seth. I don't know. I don't know where I would put it. I guess the Miz is the only place I really could think of even it going to, and then switching the gimmick, the Miz keeping his gimmick, or expanding on the thing he was doing with the John Cena and doing something with Dean Ambrose instead, and having what's her name, Maurice, having her dress up like, what is the girl's name? Dean Ambrose's wife or girlfriend.
Yeah, I can't think of her name right now either.
Renee Young.
That's it.
Have her dress up as Renee Young. Now that would be amazing, and I would love that. And then that makes Dean Ambrose snap back into Dean Ambrose from pre-belt, Dean Ambrose from the comic book, Dean Ambrose from being Dean Ambrose, or snap him back into his persona of John Moxley from when he was in CZW and stuff like that, which is what Dean Ambrose after Shield but before belt was. If we could have that, and him losing the belt makes him get back into doing that, that would be amazing. And then, but that would just be a continuation of, or not even a continuation, that'd be resetting their feud from back in SmackDown. But I wouldn't have a problem with that, because it was a good feud.
Yeah, I mean, they need to do something with Ambrose, and it's just disheartening to see him going down this road of goofiness. Especially when we know what he can be.
Exactly.
And it's just, like, his character is so much more than goofy. I mean, make him crazy. I don't care. That's what we need from Dean Ambrose.
Like, what we thought we were going to see a while ago was Mick Foley, like he was getting tutelage from Mick Foley and all that stuff. We were thinking we were going to see like the old Mankind gimmick, and that's what his gimmick kind of is, but not exactly. It's more of Mankind meets Tommy Dreamer meets like a Sabu, and that I want to see that again. And I know that kind of stuff is not necessarily gonna fly in WWE, that old ECW style, but that is what Dean Ambrose is. He is that old ECW wrestler in this modern era. And a lot of those guys that came over from ECW, the way they wrote them was the way that they're writing him while he's got the belt. And that, we know that he can do better. We know that he has he's got a much better fight in him than that. And that it's like they just like, well, I mean, this is what we did with the ECW guys, so let's just do it again. And Yeah, I mean,
Can't turn into a Muppet there. It's okay. I understand. I get you.
I mean, sometimes I have a feeling that they are Muppets that write for them. Sometimes, so.
Well, they are puppets. Oh.
Oh. Anyway.
Anyways, moving on to a guy that fought Dean Ambrose recently. What have you thought about Elias Sampson? I mean, he's kind of surprising me a little bit.
I want to see Elias Sampson do the Jeff Jarrett, and I don't mean buy a wrestling promotion and then drive it into the ground. I mean hitting people with guitars and all that stuff. I like Elias Sampson, and I really like his showing, and I know he was just there as like a convenient plot device to work on the Ambrose Miz feud, but he stuck in there. He's got really good in-ring skills. I don't think I would have. I think I would have preferred to see him stay on NXT a little longer, just because I feel like they need a couple more people. But at the same time, NXT is so stacked. At the same time, when he's not there, it seems like it's stacked. But when he is there, it seems like, oh, he should be here fighting. But I like that he's on. I don't know if I like that he's on Raw, but definitely like that. I liked his showing. It was really good, and him going against Ambrose and winning and going against somebody who is currently holding a premier title, well, kind of, definitely gives him a big rub.
Yeah, I mean, ever since I kind of saw the Elias Sampson character, I kind of been a little bit of a fan. I feel like it's a character that could definitely work and could definitely go somewhere. I was really surprised that they never really used him as much on NXT as they did.
Yeah, I feel like I only saw him like 5 times.
Yeah, as far as in ring, I mean, there'd be these little offshoot promos that he would do, but I feel like that gimmick really, really works, and I feel like it's something you could build on and make successful. And like you said, I was kind of shocked that he ended up on Raw so fast, especially considering what he didn't do in NXT as far as in-ring competition, because he just didn't fight that much.
Yeah.
But
I mean, only thing I can remember, I think he fought like 5 times, but the only thing I can really remember is like the one match with Cassius Ohno at the one that got him kicked out of NXT or got him knocked off NXT. That's the only thing I can even remember even happening.
I remember him fighting No Way Jose. That's the only one I can remember. I can't even remember if he won. Probably not. But yeah, I was impressed with him when he was going up against Dean Ambrose. I mean, he looked strong for the most part of that match.
Oh yeah.
We knew he wasn't going to win, but at least not by conventional means.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be a clean win.
Yeah. But he looked really good in that match, and then the Raw throws him a squash match, and I'm like, I'm hoping that they're building him up into something, and don't let him fall by the wayside as we've seen with, say, Apollo Crews or something like that.
Or Ty Dillinger.
Or Ty Dillinger.
That's what they need to do. Him and Ty Dillinger tag team.
That wouldn't be weird at all.
No.
But like I said, I've been impressed with him lately, and I do hope that they build him up into something. I mean, is he going to be a title contender anytime soon? Probably not. But it definitely has the potential, or his character has the potential, and he has the potential as far as in-ring ability to be something decent on the Raw roster, or even something rivaling Baron Corbin if he was on SmackDown. But
yeah, he would definitely knock Baron Corbin down a few notches in the power rankings if he were on SmackDown.
Of course.
No offense, Baron Corbin. No offense, Angry Bo Dallas.
After getting beat by Sami Zayn in like 5 seconds, but that's for SmackDown. That's for SmackDown. Yep, I'm pretty sure we're done with Elias Sampson.
Moving swiftly on.
Just wanted to throw that in there a little bit because I was impressed with Elias. But someone that's been getting an even bigger push and who we should be impressed with but probably aren't
Nope.
is Alexa Bliss.
Nope.
I mean, I don't think she's lost since she's been on Raw, has she?
She hasn't.
I didn't think so. And she's taken out pretty good wrestlers in the process.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and it's to the point now that, she's getting such a big push that, Sasha Banks has been relegated to this 205 Live feud with
Fighting Foxy.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, how do you feel about this?
I've got some choice words. If you follow me on Twitter, this guy 1818, the real Lee Craft, copyright symbol, on Twitter, you've seen me having a battle with apparently the entire WWE universe about why I would prefer, or why Alexa Bliss might be one of the more attractive women on the roster, but is not so good in the ring or on the mic, because it's like I'm in a fatal 5-way match. They're coming at me from all sides. They're like, "You're stupid. Bayley's not good. You're stupid. None of the women on the roster are good. Alexa Bliss is the best woman ever in the ring." And I'm like, I don't think so. So, it's one of those things. I don't think she deserves this push. She's okay, but she's not the person that I would be pushing to the moon right now. But we know that WWE doesn't want to push anybody to the moon that the people want, really, because they think it feels like they're trying to get that go away heat instead of their real heel heat. And Alexa Bliss, she's not getting that go away heat at the moment, but she's not really at the level I think she should be at for the level that she is at, if you get what I'm going with.
I got you. Kind of going back to an article that I shared with you not too long ago, where it basically says, the WWE is essentially pushing wrestlers that are undeserving to get that heel heat that they're wanting.
The Jinder Mahal
article. Do you kind of see something similar to that with this Alexa Bliss push?
Yeah. One thing I noticed at Backlash when they had the intro, they were saying the face of this, the face of that, the face of that, and then when Jinder Mahal popped up, it popped up as the face of privilege, like he is getting the push just because. And I have a feeling that that's where they're going to go with this Alexa Bliss, and where they're going with the Roman Reigns, where they're going with all these people. It's they have the privilege of being it, not that they've earned it, just that they have that privilege thing. The whole identity politics, privilege thing. That's what it feels like here as well. Which is kind of a strange way to put that, because identity politics, yeah, whatever, doesn't matter. But that's what this feels like. It feels like it's a push of somebody who the fans, the hardcore fans, I guess, don't feel as deserving, because they know it's going to get them some really, I don't know if I'd say good heat, but cheap heat, if that makes more, that kind of sums it up a little better than calling it good heat. It's cheap heat. They know that the fans aren't going to like it.
Yeah. It's basically the same feeling that I have. Now, I'm not like so, against Alexa, necessarily holding the title. I understand that, you can't always have Sasha and you can't always have Bayley win. My biggest issue at this point is the way they're pushing her as this unbeatable champion.
Yeah.
That's my biggest issue with it. And like I don't know, dropping a few matches here or there isn't going to affect anything, but I don't know. Like, I don't have a problem with her being a champion, because at this point she might be outside of Nia, she might be the only heel worth putting the title on. But at the same time, it doesn't necessarily have to be a heel that holds the title. So I don't know what the end game is for this, but I really disappointed that Sasha is having to be relegated to a 205 Live feud.
Yeah, and I had no, like I said, I've only had interest to watch 205 Live once, and then I had interest to watch it this past week, but at the same time, it gave me just enough spark to think about it, but not enough to make me go watch it. If you feel me, they're trying to get people to watch 205 Live because I have a feeling it's not doing as well as they want it to be, and that doesn't mean a lot because it's on their own network. They know it's not going to do as well as something like on USA or anything, but at the same time, I feel like they think it should be doing a little better, so they're trying to get people to cross over to it, and they were hoping people would follow Sasha because she's probably one of their top merch selling people, but at the same time, I still just wasn't interested enough to want to go watch it. And that's coming from a guy who has admittedly said that he really likes cruiserweights. Like the thing that the cruiserweight title was a good idea, but the show itself is not, in my opinion.
Absolutely. That's been my opinion since day one. Like, the cruiserweight title is a great idea, especially in the wrestling world we live in today, where that's essentially the craze for the most part.
Yeah.
When you look at who's getting pulled from these independent promotions to come into NXT, etc., it's those type of wrestlers, that style of wrestler.
Yeah, they're all super, or they're all junior. They're all junior heavyweights or cruiserweights or light heavyweight. Or let's see, what are the other? I'm trying to think of that whole, what every different combat sport calls that segment of people. It's that 189 to 215 range, depending on what promotion you're talking about. But that weight class, and then that style that weight class is known for, is just it's incendiary is the best way to put it. It's that lucha style. It's that whole thing, and it's definitely one of the hottest products out there. It's just the way they present it, with the way WWE's presenting it. It just doesn't work as well.
Yeah, just the idea that it was going to be good to make one show and focus solely on 205. I mean, I know in theory it would have been a good idea, but you got to realize exactly who you're marketing to as well. Mm-hmm. And also putting it on after SmackDown, taping it after SmackDown, I don't even know if it's taped. Is it taped? I can't remember.
It's taped after Raw.
It's taped after Raw. They just show it.
And then it plays after SmackDown.
Gotcha. And that's just it wasn't smart marketing.
Like there. It feels weird too. Like it feels like they tape it at Raw. They have a couple matches on Raw, but then all the ads that are for it play on SmackDown. It feels like they're trying to associate it with SmackDown more than they're associating it with Raw. That's why it's purple. They're trying to associate it with both brands, but it just feels awkward. And if they're trying to associate it with both brands, instead of having a second or a fourth wrestling show, they should have cruiserweight matches on both shows, and then at pay-per-views have a challenge for the belt. That's what I would do. I would have, like, we've got Finn Balor and Neville fighting over here, and you could get other people into that aren't just like the guys that are designated cruiserweights, but guys that are also in that weight class and rank and style. get them going. So like you have a Finn Balor and you have a Neville fight over here, and then over on SmackDown you have a let's see who in SmackDown is in that weight class.
Sami Zayn.
Yeah, Sami Zayn versus a man. Who else is over there? I'm having trouble thinking of Sin Cara. Yeah.
Ty Dillinger technically, but not really. What's his name? Breezango, the other one of Tyler Breeze.
Oh yeah, Tyler Breeze would be in that. Fandango might be at the very top of the cruiserweight weight class, depending on who you ask. I'm not sure what his weight is, but I know Tyler Breeze is probably in that 189 at least weight class, somewhere in there.
Maybe Aiden English.
Oh yeah, he's still on there. I forgot he still existed. But yeah, I mean, that would be the way that I would do it instead of having it be its own thing. Because like, yes, people tune in to watch cruiserweights, but when was the last time you tuned in to watch an MMA match where they only did cruiserweight matches or they only did flyweight matches?
Right.
You tune in to watch these things where you have differing body types and styles go against each other, and that's what you're tuning in to see. You don't tune in to watch one weight class all the time. I mean, even when those things that are single weight class tournaments, they will have a couple open matches that are of another weight class.
Yeah, I mean, we're not. You don't solely watch, let's say, 205 Live for the purpose of it being just 205, for the purpose of just watching the weight class specifically. You want to watch an event based on how the event is presented, not for the weight class, basically is what I'm trying to say. I had that better in my head than it came out, but you get what I'm saying.
I get what you're saying. It feels like they're pushing it just because it is this weight class and this style.
Yes.
Whereas most people tune in to combat sports to see multiple weight classes, multiple styles, everything going against each other.
Right. A show.
Yeah. It's more than just one thing. And it just seems too homogenous.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, I wouldn't mind the cross-brand thing, or even at the least, put everything on Raw. Raw is 3 hours long. You're trying to tell me that you can't build a solid storyline and have solid cruiserweight wrestling or cruiserweight matches on Raw with 3 hours? I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
And that way you don't have to worry about trying to attract people to a whole totally new show. And you could just put it on Raw. People are already watching Raw because they like to watch Raw. And who knows how many people you'll get caught, just decide, I'm going to watch this match. I'm not going to use the bathroom right now. That kind of thing. They're already watching Raw. Go ahead and put it on Raw.
Yeah.
But
I mean, people might get lost in the shuffle if they're not specifically this brand, but at the same time, they're getting lost in the shuffle anyway when they're just the 205 Live guys, because you only have 2 matches on Raw that are 205 Live, and most people are not switching over to the network to watch it. Yeah. I mean, that's unfortunate. I'd hate to see TJ Perkins. He's not TJ Perkins anymore. He's TJP. Yeah. I'd hate to see TJP disappear because people aren't watching freaking the Cruiserweight show. And that's disheartening, but at the same time, they've kind of dug their own grave by making it like this.
Yeah. Anyways, ready to make some money?
I don't know. I guess I don't really like money. I like just like getting paid in chips.
Yes.
And I don't mean like Vegas chips. I mean like barbecue chips.
They are delicious.
But speaking of barbecue chips, if you have the Amazon Prime app, or if you sign up for Amazon Prime, you can get free shipping and Amazon Now on some devices, or some qualifying products, including barbecue chips. And if you're like me, you can get some sweet heat, golden flake, barbecue chicharrones. You know what chicharrones are, Ryan Cloud?
I do not. School me.
They are lightly fried pieces of pork skin. And they're awesome for people that are doing the keto diet or the no carbs diet, because you get that crispy chip crunch, but you don't get the carbs because they're actually meat. They are super deep fried meat. It is awesome. All right, Cloud, do you know what chicharrones are now?
I know everything about chicharrones.
Exactly. Everybody likes pork rinds. Grab them now. Grab them now. Grab them good. Get them while they're hot. Well, I don't know if they'd be hot, but you could get them as soon as you need them if you have Amazon Now and Amazon Prime and all of that stuff. You can get your groceries, get everything on Amazon Now. You can get everything on Amazon Now, especially if you have the Amazon Now thing. That's what I was trying to say. Anyway, back to you, Ryan Cloud.
All right. Let's move on over to Smack Dizzle, or SmackDown, as some people call it, I guess. Now, we kind of talked.
Smacking down.
Yes. Now, we've already talked about Raw's women's division and our mixed emotions about that. The SmackDown women's division, though to me it doesn't have a direction, so to say, at this point, they are at least doing some interesting things over there on SmackDown. Lee, fill us in on that.
So, there is the first ever Money in the Bank match coming up. And I don't mean Money in the Bank match just in general. First ever women's Money in the Bank match coming up. And this is going to be fire. Glow fire. Royal glow fire. That's what it's going to be. Royal glow fire from Staten Island. And I can't think of anybody else's gimmick right now that is specifically what they say. So, it is going to be a crazy show. Ryan Cloud, what happened in this past match? This past week? I'm not even sure how to break this down, but it was amazing.
I mean, I'm speechless. Hold up just a second. Let me look at my notes.
Well, I could say this one thing. The match actually didn't even happen. Sorry, didn't happen. Because it just broke down before things even got going. Because it got going before they even rung the bell.
And that's what happens when you have craziness.
Yes. It was the ultimate craziness. And I don't even know. All I wrote down from my notes was, women's match, oh my god, that's amazing. This isn't even a match. Women's Money in the Bank match. Oh my gosh, what is gonna happen? I don't know. And
so
then,
much.
It was, that's what happened. It was basically, who started this? So, when Naomi jumps in the ring, she's like, I think she's the last, no, not Naomi, who was the last person in the ring?
It was...
She came in the ring, and then the Princess of Staten Island just starts wailing on her. And then from there, it just broke down. They never actually got the ring. They never got the match started. I think Natalia wound up going through a table, which is something you rarely see in women's matches. But I don't know, if I were going to pick the most athletic, the most likely to do something that they normally only allow for men's matches, it is Charlotte and Natalia. And that is what happened. Like, this is the most insane. This is not something you would have seen in the previous 100 years of women's wrestling. I mean, if there was a women's ECW, and I mean mainstream women's wrestling. I don't mean like something on Ring of Honor or ECW or anything from previous. But I mean, if there was a women's version of ECW that was run by the WWE back in the late 90s, this match would have been like their big pay-per-view match right here, what just happened. And that is great. That can only mean good things for women's wrestling in general.
Oh yeah, I mean this is just something that, like you said, you would kind of expect this on the men's side, but the way that it was presented and orchestrated, this big brawl, it was just perfect. I mean, to get the money in the bank ladder match announcement.
The money in the bag. What is this? 1990s? They're fighting over Gucci purse.
Just throw it in the bag. It was just a perfect setup. You have to feel hype about this women's money in the bank ladder match.
Iron Cloud just wants to make them fight over a purse.
Yes. No.
Gosh.
No.
Horrible Ryan Cloud, you're gonna get us protested.
No. Not at all. But I don't know. This is just gonna be exciting, especially considering it's almost like this chaos that's been going on in the women's division has perfectly set up this Money in the Bank ladder match. I mean, like I said when we first started this segment, the women's division didn't really have a direction, and because it doesn't have a direction, we now have a Money in the Bank ladder match where we really don't know who's going to win.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that they don't have a direction is a good thing in this case. Since we can see the direction on Raw, and it's not a very, I don't know, it's not pleasing, just not, it doesn't seem well thought out, versus SmackDown, there is utter chaos, and it seems directionless, but it seems like there is a point to it. It seems like it's heading somewhere, but not heading in any specific general direction in general.
Right. And that's going to make the outcome just that much more mysterious. I mean, like, we don't know who's going to win. I mean, we can put money to say Charlotte might win. But in most cases, and I use the word most very anyways, in most cases, the Money in the Bank ladder match winner, it can be a shocker sometimes. Sometimes we kind of know who's going to win it going in, and then other times it's like, but most times, we don't really know. Hey, we had Sheamus win the Money in the Bank ladder match not too long ago. So
it's true.
2 years ago, actually.
No.
So who knows? I mean, we could see Carmella come down with the briefcase. Who knows?
The Princess of Staten Island.
Well,
He's a muppet.
Let me just say, I don't want her to win, but she could.
No, we know who's gonna win. It's gonna be everybody's favorite James Ellsworth.
I would die.
And then he's going to give it to the Princess of Staten Island. Or he's going to betray her and give it to the Queen. The Queen will reign. She'll be the first ever Triple Crown, women's Triple Crown, because that hasn't been a thing until now.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Sort of, kind of.
I mean, she's got to knock off what's her face, Alexa Bliss, for being the women's first ever to hold both titles. So, I mean, this would be the only way you could be a Triple Crown in the women's, is by getting the Money in the Bank and and having held both titles, because there's not a women's tag.
Yeah,
that would be pretty cool though.
That would be.
They don't have enough women to do a women's tag division though. I mean, I guess they could, but it seems like that'd be something that'd have to go across brand.
Brands, yeah.
And they would need to pull in people from from NXT also for that to be workable. But you don't want people you don't want to do that because there's not enough people on NXT to work cross-brand really either. So there's not really enough to do that, but that'd be really cool if they could do that. And then they could actually have a Triple Crown the way that it's set up in the men's division.
Yeah. But I think Charlotte should win, but I don't know. I don't know what SmackDown Creative is going to do. And I guess that's
one of the good things about SmackDown.
Yeah. That's kind of one of the gems about this situation is the fact that we don't know. And there's so little time that we don't know anymore, really.
Yeah.
So when we get that moment that's actually like sincere, like we really don't know who's gonna win, it feels kind of good. But enough of that feel good junk.
Yeah, we hate feeling good.
Yeah, pump that. Moving on to Shinsuke Nakamura. So yeah, he's undefeated on SmackDown. I kind of dig it. He's him and AJ Styles won a tag team match.
What happened? Did you die?
I'm good. Him and AJ Styles won a tag team match 2 weeks ago, and then we saw him and Sami Zayn win just this past week. So, I mean, it really looks like SmackDown is planning on making him continue to look strong in these early stages of his tenure on SmackDown. Do you think that that's a necessity? Do you think that he has to keep winning to just kind of keep up that aura of greatness? Or do you feel like that just him being him will allow him to get to what looks like it's going to be a U.S. title shot?
For the next, I don't know, since we got so many pay-per-views coming up so quickly, for the next 2 pay-per-views, I guess, I'd like to see him remain not necessarily undefeated, but he needs to have, if he loses, it be from it's not a clean loss, if you get what I'm saying. The only thing that for the next so not what is the next one? Not Money in the Bank, and not whatever is the next one after Money in the Bank. But after that, then you can start. I think he can start losing. But I guess it'd be for the next month or so, month and a half. He stays undefeated. That's how I would see it, and that can pull Sami Zayn out of the kind of funk that he's in. If Nakamura and Zayn are kind of not tag team, not like an official tag team, but something close to that.
Just a tandem, a little.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess they would be kind of a stable, then not even a real stable, but for the next month and a half or so, Sami Zayn, Shinsuke Nakamura, AJ Styles together as a kind of a indie shield.
I like it.
And they kind of work off each other for the next month and a half or so. Something happens and Shinsuke loses after, or loses at that next, not the next pay-per-view, but the one following. Whatever that's going to be called. Because, I mean, what Great Balls of Fire is a Raw. What's going to be the thing after Great Balls of Fire?
Let's see. We'll say
Chocolate Salty Balls.
Close enough.
That's what's good.
I was going to say
chocolate salty
I was going
balls.
to say Folsom Prison, but whatever.
Oh yeah, okay. You're going with Johnny Cash. I was going with Balls.
We see whose bonds where.
Yeah, I was thinking of Chef from South Park, but okay. Yeah, that's where Shinsuke loses. That'll be where he takes his first L. and it kind of causes some kind of dissension between Shinsuke, AJ, and Sami Zayn. But how awesome was it to see AJ and Shinsuke after so many battles, because they've never been a team. So many battles where they've fought each other because Shinsuke was not part of the Bullet Club. He was the anti-Bullet Club in New Japan. And how awesome was that to see those two together for like the first time in ever?
It was great.
Yeah.
I mean it was just amazing. And you could tell that there was some chemistry there because those two looked really well together as a team in that ring.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I'm happy that they allowed them to pick up the W.
Yeah.
There's sometimes on SmackDown where I don't know, but I definitely, that's something I definitely enjoyed.
Yeah. Shades of Wrestle Kingdom 2 years ago, Wrestle Kingdom 2016 was amazing.
Yeah, that was their last. Was that their last event in New Japan?
Yeah, that was both of their last events in New Japan, and then they both disappeared, and then all of a sudden AJ pops up at the Royal Rumble, and Shinsuke just appears in NXT. So, I mean, yeah, it's great. It was great to see that, and yeah. What do you think though? Where do you see them going from there? Like, does Shinsuke need to stay winning? Does Shinsuke need to lose? What needs to happen there?
I feel like Shinsuke needs to pick up what I see as a key signature victory. I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Shinsuke, but I feel like that's what he needs to do. Do I necessarily need to see him undefeated for a long period of time? No. Do I have to see him lose every once in a while? Not necessarily. I feel like, and I'm not sure if, I can't remember if there's been any announcement as to who's going to be on the men's side of Money in the Bank. I feel like Kevin Owens was one of them, or at least has teased it. I'm not sure. But I feel like...
I think it's Owens, Styles, Zayn, but I'm not sure because I remember they were talking about it, and then Kevin Owens walked out instead of whoever else was supposed to come out. But I don't remember who else was in that announcement. Well, he got all angry.
Well, I'll just say this: if they've not made a complete list of who's going to be in it, I feel like Shinsuke should be in the Money in the Bank. Just saying. I feel like he should be. If he's not, he needs to be in a title match with Kevin Owens for the U.S. title. But I'm pretty sure Kevin Owens may end up being in Money in the Bank. So if that's the case, that's where Shinsuke should be, is in Money in the Bank. And I'm not even saying he needs to win it. He just needs to have a good showing in that match. And that can be one of those kind of losses that aren't really a losses type of deal to keep him human.
Yeah. I mean, he has to lose sometime, but when, not sure. And how he's going to lose, it's probably going to be a what is that called? Like a dirty finish. Oh, here's the list. AJ, Shinsuke, Ziggler, Zayn, Corbin, and Kevin Owens.
Okay. Oh, that's actually a pretty impressive list. I'm not sure who'd come out with that either.
Yeah. I mean that was what this tag match thing was. It was it was after the announcement, it kind of wound up in a scrum, so they made the tag match. And then they made another tag match the next week. And I don't know, who benefits most from winning the Money in the Bank?
I think who benefits the most? I believe that if there's anybody that benefits like the most, in my opinion, is Sami Zayn.
I thought you were going to say Baron Corbin.
No,
okay.
I won't say Baron Corbin. I feel like if Baron Corbin won, it'd come with mixed reactions.
Yeah. It wouldn't get Jinder Mahal type reactions, but
no, it would get like I feel like it would get more of let's say Roman Reigns won the Money in the Bank or something like that, or if
Gotcha.
Roman Reigns won the Fatal 5-Way, like it's
Mm-hmm.
it not something that it wouldn't get that much heat, but it'd be on that level. Like there'd be some people that would be like, he kind of deserves it, and then there'd be some people that just totally hated it.
Yeah, they wouldn't burn the place down, but they would be angry because
Groans. There would be groans.
yeah, it'd be like, we knew it was gonna happen, but okay, we don't like it, but we understand. This is your guy. That's kind of how I feel like that would be. I think Sami Zayn would probably be best to win it, but at the same time, I don't know. I've always liked Dolph Ziggler, but it kind of hurts me that he's relegated to a jobber to the stars. But you got to have somebody that's like that, and I mean, he's good enough in the ring with all those guys. Like he's on the same level as them. So I mean, I guess it's okay.
Yeah, and with Money in the Bank, oh my gosh,
Money in the bag.
with Money
Gonna go rob a bank.
With Money in the Bank acting sort of as a coming out party occasionally, I don't see Ziggler winning it because he's had his chances in the past.
Yeah, he's won it once, I think. He's won it once before.
Yeah, I don't see AJ winning it just because AJ basically was the man for all of 2016. So, let's see. I don't know if it would. I would like to see Shinsuke win it, but I don't know.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
No, Kevin Owens shouldn't win it.
It would be. I think Kevin Owens winning it though would also be pretty cool. Of the people there, Shinsuke, AJ, Sammy, or Kevin would be the four that I would put money on. I don't see Ziggler getting it. I don't see Baron Corbin getting it.
Well, see, I wouldn't put it past Baron Corbin winning it.
It's true.
I wouldn't put it past it.
He won the Andre the Giant challenge. Speaking of that, where's Mojo?
Who knows? Surprise, he's not in the Money in the Bank.
Yeah. I mean, I always thought he was a figment of my imagination, and maybe it's just happened. They were just like, maybe we'll go with that storyline. I like that.
Where did Mojo go? I don't know. I don't know who you're talking about. We never had a Mojo around.
What are you talking about?
But Sami Zayn is like after the way he's been treated for so long. If he came out and won the Money in the Bank, I think it would be great. The problem is I don't know how much of a pop he would get from the crowd because he has been treated so bad, like as far as booking goes. I don't know if the crowd would be like, "Oh my God, yay!" or if they'd be like, "Oh, okay, Sami Zayn won. Cool, I guess."
I guess that's cool for him. He's okay.
Like I don't know how.
I guess I like Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
Hey,
Like,
that's his Twitter handle. Wow, that's cool. I like Sami Zayn.
like I don't know how bad his brand has been hurt by the booking that WWE has placed on him. But
yeah,
like I said, AJ, or like you said, AJ, Shinsuke, Kevin, or Zayn would be my options.
sounds like you're picking Sami Zayn.
Sure, why not?
Yeah, I mean, you said everybody else's first name, and then you said and Zayn, and he's not Zayn Malik. He's not the lead singer of the Zayn Malik band or whatever that was called. New Direction, One Direction.
One Direction.
Yeah. Anyway.
Moving on to more pressing.
What do you think about
matters.
the USO Penitentiary? What do you think about the USO Penitentiary?
I love it.
I think that's stupid.
It's stupid, but it's good. It's one of those things that's so stupid that you kind of sit back and realize you like it a little bit.
Their whole gangster gimmick, I think, is so stupid. It is so ridiculously stupid. But at the same time, I'm like, okay, I will laugh at your joke. I will laugh. You think it's funny, so I will think it's funny too.
Well, see, I like the Usos like gangster gimmick to an extent. Like, I feel like they're obviously being dragged into this comic type thing because of Breezango.
Yeah, like that's why it feels so stupid, but at the same time, like, you think it's funny, so I guess I think it's funny too. Okay, I will laugh. And it's so goofy. But the other thing that's goofy is the Breezango thing, and I love that. Oh my god,
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes. Like,
I don't even know why I'm reacting this way to it. It's so hilarious.
It's like they were comic relief for so long that it has somehow pushed them to the moon in the tag team division.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, who? American Alpha who? What? Well, we want Breezango to win the titles.
Yeah. I want to see Breezango win and be the champions from now on, just forever. And I want to see them feud with the New Day, and it would be amazing. And I don't even know.
I don't either. I don't know. I'm a fan of Breezango now, but here's a question that you can that swirl up there in your dome for a little bit. How much is too much when it kind of comes to the way that SmackDown is booking? I mean, we got Jinder Mahal as champion. We got Breezango as a legitimate threat to the tag team titles. I mean, how much is too much for the land of opportunity?
I think it really just comes down to who you're talking about. I mean, Jinder Mahal doesn't feel like he's earned anything.
Right.
Like, he feel like he's been dropped into the main event as a main event player just because he's come back all
shredded,
pro-hormoned up. Pro-hormoned. We're not going to say what he's on, but we're going to say pro-hormones, okay? Don't want to get us into some legal trouble, okay? Not like that guy that's like a professional steroids bodybuilder who said, there's something up with that. Look at me and look at him. He's bigger than I am, and I'm on the steroids. We're not gonna make any assumptions. I'm just gonna say he's on some type of pro hormone. That doesn't necessarily mean it's a steroid. Because it feels like that's all that's going on here. Is he's been dropped in and he's just gotten shot to the moon. But we know, like, the contract details for Tyler Breeze leaked a long time ago that he can never win a match. And he's been relegated to lose. The only way he can win is if he's in a tag team, and he cannot actually take the win. And then this past week, he got the pin. And that's something he can't, like, as we know from his old contract, he wasn't allowed to do. So there's something, like, it feels like they've earned this spot versus his as in Jinder Mahal's. It just doesn't feel right. So there's not a line between too much opportunity. It's just who's getting it and how the fans feel about it. I don't know. Do you think there's too much opportunity?
I wouldn't say that there's too much opportunity, because I feel like when you take away that side of SmackDown, the whole idea that it's the land of opportunity, you kind of lose some of that luster that SmackDown has right now. I mean, it's the place where anything can happen. Mm-hmm. I mean, you have Naomi that won the women's title. I mean, you have Jinder Mahal. We don't like it, but he won the WWE title.
Ugly kicks.
Huh?
Yeah. You said Naomi, I said with her ugly kicks.
Oh,
She's not very good. Her kicks don't look very good.
Yeah.
But everything else about her is awesome.
Yeah. And you got Breezango taking advantage of their land of opportunity. Or their opportunity, rather. So I wouldn't say that I don't like it. Do I think there's a limit to where it just kind of becomes what's the word I'm looking for? I'm not sure, but I don't believe that you can take away your main eventers either. Like AJ, let's say he doesn't win Money in the Bank. He's kind of off in obscurity and he's probably the best talent they have. Let's say.
I don't think he'll ever be,
Huh?
but yeah, I get where you're going.
What'd you say? You broke up.
I said I don't think he'd ever be in obscurity. I don't think he'd ever be in obscurity, but I mean, I get where you're going.
Not in the main picture, basically. Which he doesn't have to be, but you get what I'm saying. So I do think there's a limit to the amount of crazy, out of left field opportunity that you have. But at the same time, I think that that's a good thing for SmackDown to have. It's just that idea that anything could happen at any given time. Because, like we said earlier, when it's truly a surprise is when everything feels genuine.
Yeah, it feels like whoever was writing for NXT has been picked up to write for SmackDown, and NXT is a crazy place. It feels like SmackDown and NXT both feel like indie promote, like I mean, not as much, but SmackDown not as much, but they both feel like we don't know what happened, and something crazy is going to happen every week, at least every other week. Like it feels like a Ring of Honor or a New Japan or anything like that. Both of them are starting to feel like that. Raw feels stale, but SmackDown definitely feels like something that you're going to see on some random show out in the middle of nowhere instead of Impact or Raw.
Agreed. And I'm pretty sure that wraps up SmackDown. Is there anything else you could think of?
Speaking of NXT.
Yeah, speaking of NXT and all the other
NXT, dude, Ciampa, Gargano, what is up? Yeah, it's crazy.
It's Ciampa. Why you gotta be messing up DIY? Why you gotta do that for? I just don't get it.
I know you didn't get a chance to check out NXT because of secret private parties that you've been going to in the woods with the presidents and all that. I mean, I'm just assuming you're part of that secret owl society that everybody knows about, like New World Order. What is that called?
Are you talking about
not WWE's New World Order? I'm talking about these. I didn't want to say it. Come on. But so I know you didn't get to watch NXT this past week. But what happened was Ciampa came out and he explained why he did all this. Said he doesn't, if he's going to be on the shelf, he doesn't want. Let me back up. So he got hurt, and people were talking about who should replace him. Who should be Johnny Gargano's new tag partner? We didn't talk. We knew that wasn't going to happen. We knew that they were going to stay together and be best buds. I mean, they're like Tango and Cash. Tango and Cash. They're like, well, they're not like, I was going to say, the slightly gay almost had a wedding tag team. I can't remember their name. Anyway.
Talking about Chuck and Palumbo?
That's what I was thinking about. Yeah. Billy and Chuck. They're not technically like that, but they are getting close to that level of being connected type of thing. Like, it's kind of hard to see them fighting separately. You expect to see one when you see the other. They're like the Colin Cassidy and
Enzo
Amore. I can't even think. But they're like that. You expect them to see that. You don't expect to see one get replaced like that. But people were talking about it. And Ciampa, he did not like hearing that. So he knew he was going to be out because he got hurt in the match. So he decided that if he's going on the shelf, I'm going on the shelf with him. And that seems a little selfish. Ron Cloud, does that seem kind of selfish?
Just a smidgen. I mean, you know, I wouldn't want my partner moving on either. I mean, that's just how it is sometimes.
I mean, it feels like this is the beginning of the Wolves storyline over on TNA.
Very, very similar.
So,
like,
yes, except the fallout happens before everybody got hurt instead of after everybody got hurt.
It's like, Gargano, you getting a little bit too big for your britches. Gotta knock it down a few steps.
Johnny Gargano is Eddie, and that's not, guys. I don't know. It feels like NXT is the place where TNA storylines come over and actually work versus what they were doing in TNA. Even though these people weren't even in TNA, they were in Chikara together, so they weren't in TNA. I don't think they were ever in TNA, but it feels like NXT is just like, let's take that TNA storyline and let's just tweak it a little bit. Maybe it'll work over here, and that's what is happening. That's what it feels like is happening, at least.
So what do you think about this? The notion of breaking that tag team up, giving the limited amount of tag teams in NXT?
I think it's stupid. I think it's a stupid idea, but from the reason Ciampa gave, maybe they stay together and they make up.
Probably.
And they have they have a weird loose alliance where they're like, well, we still have to be tag teams. We promised each other. We still have to do it. It'd be like if somebody put Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens together in a tag team now or something. Or like the beginning of Cesaro and Sheamus, but when they first started.
So you think that Johnny Gargano is basically a masochist?
I mean, I ain't gonna say that they've been reading 50 Shades of Grey together and they become S&M people, but I mean, if the shoe fits, if the cattle harness fits, wear it.
I'm just saying, I don't think Johnny Gargano is gonna be like, you beat me up and cost us the tag team titles on NXT. I forgive you though. I don't think that's gonna happen. But who am I?
Didn't really cost him the titles. They'd already lost.
Touche.
It was already done.
Touche.
Yeah. It's like we end the show and then I'm like, screw you, Brian Cloud. Never talk to you again.
And I'd just be like, that's inconvenient.
Yeah, it'd be horrible.
All right.
The whole world would end. Just like in the WWE universe right now. Anyway.
Anyways, tell us what else happened on NXT.
I mean, that's pretty much all it's worth talking about.
Oh, okay.
There's probably some kind of thing brewing between the Iconic Duo and Miss Ember Moon. And coming up, we're going to have a match between Asuka and the two other ladies that she fought the other day, Ruby Riott. Ruby Riott? Yeah, Ruby Riott. Riot Rose?
Ruby Riott.
You know who I'm
Cross.
talking about. Ruby Riott and Nikki Cross. I was trying to think of it's Ruby Riott or is it something else? Because she hasn't been on there long enough, in my mind, to justify being in this title picture. But I can't think of any other woman on their thing that is worth the title picture either. So at the same time, yeah, but that's where we're going with that. There's going to be another fight between them, and Ember Moon has been cleared for competition, so she will be back in the ring pretty soon, and there is probably going to be some kind of square off between the Iconic Duo revisiting that feud back when Ember Moon tweaked what's her name? The Australian girl. The girl that wears all the black. Not the one that wears Billie Kay.
Billie Kay.
Yeah. when she tweaked Billie Kay's neck. So we're probably going to see a revisitation of that feud for a little bit until this kind of thing dies a little bit down between Nikki Cross, Ruby Riott, and Asuka, and then we're probably going to see Ember Moon, Asuka again after that. Because the Iconic Duo was trying to shoot their little thing that they were doing for a little bit during NXT, where the camera would follow them around the backstage or around Full Sail, and then we hadn't seen that for a while. And then last week I said, or 2 weeks ago I said, I really want to see these again, and then they came back this past week. Something's up with that. Just saying. I say it, it happens. Just saying, right, Cloud? I ain't saying what I'm saying, but I'm saying.
But just saying.
Yeah. And she kind of walked in front of them as she walked out of the trainer's room after she was being cleared for in-ring competition again, and messed up their show. That's horrible. How could you mess up their show? I know, horrible. But that's pretty much all that's really gone on. All that's went on in NXT. Speaking of NXT, you know what's awesome? The Glorious theme song. The Glorious theme song. Yep. Glorious. And you know what else is awesome? The Nashville Predators. They play that before the third period of every hockey game now. It's amazing. Just thought I'd put that out there. Eric Young is angry about it, but he said his theme song doesn't quite work for a hockey game, so he's pissed, but he understands. Just thought that was worth pointing out because NXT. Anyway. So, I guess we could talk about. Let's talk about Impact for a second. Did you watch any of Impact? No, of course you did.
Unfortunately, I have not got the opportunity to. You know what? I don't need this.
You should have just said, of course I didn't, because that is the proper answer. Anyway. So, what I'm trying to build to is how amazing this whole week of matches has been. It's been insane, no matter what promotion you've been watching. And but these matches were really good. We saw Moose and Eli Drake fighting for the TNA title, the Grand Championship, and it was really, really good. There weren't any spots that stood out or anything, but it was really good. I'd go back and watch that if you get a chance. Also, there's been a little bit of thing. Hornswoggle got picked up by TNA, and we haven't talked about this, but after they shook up, I guess, the TNA shake-up, their ring announcer became a guy who talks on the mic, a color commentator. So their ring announcer was Rockstar Spud for a while. And then Rockstar Spud got jumped by Hornswoggle, of all people. Swoggle. The horn part is trademarked by WWE. So just Swoggle. But he got jumped by Hornswoggle, and Rockstar Spud has been out of action for a while. He's been saying he's going to come back and get his revenge on Hornswoggle for the past little bit, and he's been like in traction and out of action and in traction. But then this past week, Hornswoggle's like doing his little Hornswoggle I'm dancing crap, and then all of a sudden, Rockstar Spud appears out of nowhere and beats him down with a hammer. It was amazing. But then the other thing that happened is the Global Force Wrestling title was Global Force.
The Global Force.
I think I said it right. Basically. So the title was defended, or they were fighting to see who is going to go for the title. And we saw a match between EC3 and Alberto El Patron in a cage. And my God, you want to see a really good match? Check this out. It's got suplexes from cages. It's got everything you want from a regular cage match. And man, it's not my top match of the week, but it is probably in the top 5 of the week. Go check that out. Go check it out. But, Ron Cloud, what do you think the reason for all these like ridiculously awesome matches this past week is?
I'm not sure. It just kind of feels like everybody's in the mood to showcase what their wrestlers can do.
I understand this. I have a sinking suspicion though. There is a specific reason why they are all up and ready to put out some ridiculous content this week.
What's that reason?
One of the greatest promotions ratings-wise has come back this past week. And if y'all don't know what I'm talking about, there's this little channel called El Rey Network. And on that channel, they've got a little wrestling promotion that is kind of an offshoot of the AAA promotion called Lucha Underground, shot out of Boyle Heights, California.
Mm-hmm.
Shot in the Temple. And this past week, we got to go back to the Temple since January 2nd, I believe. And we got to see one of the most ridiculous matches in a long time. And this was I was going to call it a 60-minute Broadway, but it's not technically a 60-minute Broadway because I think it was only 45 minutes. But it was the hour-long episode match. And we got to see the match between the Mac and Johnny Mundo. And this has been a long time coming. This whole past season of Lucha Underground, we've seen Johnny Mundo trying to get that belt, trying to get that title. And on the last episode, he took the title off of Sexy Star. And yes, I know this is kind of weird because in American wrestling, we don't have mixed matches. And if we do have mixed matches, the man has to tag out for the woman and all this stuff and all that stuff. But over in AAA and Crash and all those other promotions with the Mexican promotions, they have mixed matches. And the title holder was Sexy Star. And for people that don't watch Lucha Underground and possibly watch AAA, I don't know how many people there are that are like that, but her name is oh my gosh, I can't think of it. It's Dulce. Her last name is Dulce. She's really, really good. Probably one of the best women's wrestlers out there right now. And she had the title. Johnny Mundo took it off of her, and the Mac he's kind of like, I don't know if I want to call him her valet or manager, but they accompany each other to the ring.
They're friends.
Yeah, they're good friends. And the Mac wants that title. He tried to take it off of Johnny Mundo in this match, and the stipulation of this match was kind of an Iron Man match. But whoever gets the most pinfalls or submissions in the allotted period wins the match. And we saw Johnny Mundo taking it with 3-2 pinfalls after the match. But as it was going along, Mac looked like he wasn't doing too good. And then all of a sudden, as they're going, Mac gets the upper hand, and Johnny Mundo, he crawls up under the ring, and as he's crawling under the ring, another person pops out. It runs out of the thing. So Mac starts chasing this. Excuse me. Sorry, I got going a little too fast. So Mac chases this guy out of the ring, and as he's coming back, we see Johnny Mundo crawling out with a kendo stick, and Johnny Mundo just wailed on the Mac with the kendo stick. And as that's going on, we see that it's PJ Black, the Darewolf. PJ Black is the one that has been who was hiding under the ring, waiting to run out when Johnny Mundo crawled under it. And then we saw PJ Black and Johnny Mundo beating down the Mac with these kendo sticks. And as that's going on, Matt Cross, the son of Havoc, he comes out and he starts taking down Johnny Mundo and PJ Black with a kendo stick. It is poetry in motion. If ever there was poetry in motion in the wrestling world, that's what this was. And as that's going on, we start seeing all kinds of crazy crap. And then Sexy Star hold on. let me back up. If you don't watch Lucha Underground, there is a band platform above the entranceway as the wrestlers come in. The band plays a what is it called? A maraca band.
Yeah.
Maraca band version of their intro theme, and it is amazing. And as they're playing this, the people walk out. So they've been sitting there playing the music as stage, and then while Johnny Mundo is sitting how he's about to win, the maraca player for the band takes off her hat, maracas at him, and then flies out of the shell, and it's Sexy Star, and she starts taking him down. It is the most ridiculous battle ever. And it winds up ending with a ladder in the middle of the ring, table. First, there is a ladder that's brought into the ring. The mat gets laid out on the ladder. Johnny Mundo tries to hit a end of the world. You know, his finisher. It's the same finisher he had in WWE. I think it's got a different name now, but it's called the end of the world. He tries to hit that. Mac rolls off. He busts his knee into this. I think he hits his head and his knee on the ladder. There is blood splotches on this mat. It is getting crazy. And eventually, there is a final ladder spot where the mat goes up. He's got 15 seconds to get one more pin, and he goes up onto the ladder, and he tries to do an elbow drop onto a table where Johnny Mundo is, and then he's got to get one more pin to put it over, because it was 3-3. I know I said it was 3-2, but it was 3-3, and the mat comes down, smashes through this table, and if you have not seen the Mac, go on Google Images and look up the Mac. This man is, let me say, when I say watching him do a kip up gives hope to everyone that you can do a kip up, you'll understand what I'm saying. He is a big man. And I'm not saying that's not to deride him or anything. I'm just saying he is a big dude. And it's somebody like, he doesn't look like he would be able to do a kip up because he's so, it'd be like watching Brock Lesnar do a kip up. And I've seen him do it too. And that's a scary thing to watch. So he hits this table. He goes through Johnny Mundo. He's got to get one more pin. Time expires as he's trying to get this pin. He can't get it. And as that's going on, that means that Johnny Mundo retains. It is the most heartbreaking thing to ever see. And as that's going on, though, Matt Cross goes over, opens the office where Dario Cueto is the owner of Lucha Underground. So he goes over there and gets Dario Cueto to come out, and Dario Cueto says there are no ties in his temple. This is not like one of those other promotions. There's no ties in his temple. So there is going to be another match. This match will be restarted next week. The next person to get a pinfall or a submission wins the title. So, Ryan Cloud, does this make you want to check out Lucha Underground?
Oh, yeah. 9 times out of 10, I'm checking out Lucha Underground. Just happens to be this one time was an inconvenient time for me. So,
that's an inconvenient truth.
Yes, but I will be catching up on Lucha Underground. Trust that.
So where do you think this goes for who wins? Who is going to win this match? Are we going to see after this ridiculously awesome battle, are we going to see Johnny Mundo retain next week, or are we going to see the Mac take it and bring it back to his whole little group there?
I would almost bet that Johnny Mundo keeps the title. It just feels right to have Johnny Mundo as the champion in Lucha Underground. Okay. It just does.
Okay, I feel you. Who do you think gets the best rub out of winning this title? Who do you think takes the title off of him, of the people in Lucha Underground?
Oh man, that's a good question.
I mean, you've got all kinds of people over there. You've got Prince Puma.
Well, yeah.
You got El Azteca, El Dragon Azteca Jr.
Yeah, I was about to say that'd probably be my guess.
Or you've got Mr. 619. You know who I'm talking about.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. But I don't see Rey Mysterio. I don't know. I don't see Rey Mysterio.
He's kind of more of a trainer figure for El Dragon Azteca Jr.
Yeah,
though.
it's just like his mentor.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, it's.
I'd go with El Dragon Azteca Jr. probably.
Aztec Dragon Jr.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I mean he's really good. I like him.
He's really good. Probably one of my favorites over there.
Oh yeah, he's really good. He's a little green, but he's still really good for what he is. Who would you pick as probably one of the number one guys over there? Or who's your top three?
My top three would probably be, well, you already know Prince Puma for me is number one.
Yeah.
Yeah. El Dragon Azteca Jr. is number two. And I hate to be so cliche because there's so much good talent over there. But I'll go Sexy Star 3.
Oh yeah, she is awesome. If WWE were scouting women's wrestlers and actually wanted a luchadora, I would tell them to grab her.
Oh, yeah.
She'd be up there. If I were picking top three, Brian Cage. Really like Brian Cage.
I do like Brian Cage. Massive individual.
Oh yeah, He's scary. Brian Cage, maybe a Pentagon Jr. I like Pentagon Jr.
I do like Pentagon Jr.
And I like Dr. Wagner, but I don't think he's not really. I don't think he's really signed to them. I think he's just been. I think he's only been in a couple matches over there. But I really like Dr. Wagner. I also, who else though? I mean, everybody over there. Joey Ryan. I'm going with Joey Ryan. I hate Joey Ryan, but I love Joey Ryan.
I mean, you've also got Dante Fox and Killshot too. I mean, those are two.
Oh, yeah.
Those are two of my favorites too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. All I know is that me and Joey Ryan. I've bickered at Joey Ryan a couple times. He's bickered back at me. So on the Twitter, and I think that's really cool. Because I'm like, oh, it's so greasy and nasty. He's like, you'd enjoy my greasy nastiness. I'm like, oh no. It is ridiculous. Joey Ryan is insane. I guess that could take us to Ring of Honor. Have you seen anything about what's going on in the Ring of Honor this past little bit?
Not since dude got kicked out of Adam Cole got kicked out of the Bullet Club. I have not.
So anyway, speaking of that, Adam Cole appeared on. Well, let's back up. Last week, Ring of Honor was just a clip show of Honor Rising's the Honor Rising pay-per-view from a couple months ago. So nothing really happened 2 weeks ago. But this past week, Adam Cole showed up at the Ring of Honor taping, and Marty Scurll, they were having a little welcome party for Marty Scurll to the Bullet Club. And Adam Cole shows up, and he's like, you know what? It's time for Adam Cole, baby. And we're going to talk about this. And then Adam Page is like, you know what? I'm going to run you out of Ring of Honor. So we're probably going to see, basically, Adam Cole said the one thing he was going to do was a match against Kenny Omega before he signed to WWE. And next week we're going to see an Adam Page, Adam Cole battle, and I have a feeling that's going to lead up to a Kenny Omega fight pretty soon. Also, speaking of Bullet Club, everybody's favorite Dusty Rhodes' son, well, I guess some people like Gold Dust, but Cody had a fight against Frankie Kazarian, and that was also probably one of the best matches of the week too. It was probably in the top 5 as well. But currently there is Cody Rhodes versus the Ring of Honor, and he is trying to get a shot at the title that is currently held by Christopher Daniels. And I have a feeling that we're going to see Colt Cabana pulled into this feud. Because Colt Cabana was not officiating. He was color commentating the match between Cody Rhodes and Jay Lethal and Christopher Daniels. And he said it looked like Cody had pinned Jay Lethal. So Cody had him come out into the ring and say that again before he got into a pretty heated battle with Kazarian. And so we're probably going to see Colt Cabana getting pulled into this feud in some way, shape, or form. Not exactly sure how. I don't know if this means we're going to see a Cabana versus Cody Rhodes fight, which would be awesome. That would be one for the record books. It'd be an awesome match. But this match against Frankie Kazarian was ridiculous. Cody Rhodes grabbed a beer out of some dude's hand and smashed it into Kazarian's face. And then we saw Kazarian and Cody go out, and they were battling outside the ring, and there was a guy sitting in a chair who is a stagehand guy, just kind of waiting for whatever he needed to do. And Cody and Kazarian plowed through this stagehand, through this chair, and into the barricade. They're going to get sued.
Guaranteed.
But, man, this was one of the most ridiculous matches I've seen in a while. And I know I've said that about every match that we've talked about, besides the majority of what is on Raw. So, man, Ring of Honor is heating up. We're going to see something crazy happen over there pretty soon. We've got all this crazy stuff with the Bullet Club. We got Adam Cole. We got a bunch of other things. And I guess that could bring us into the rumor mill about Adam Cole. You know any rumors around, Cloud?
About Adam Cole?
Or just rumors in general. I'll get to the Adam Cole.
Oh, okay. I've got a couple of rumors that I've kind of heard a little bit about. The first one actually involves Dalton Castle. And it's not really a rumor, I guess, as much as it's kind of floating in the wind out there. But apparently, and we might have talked about it on the show, I can't remember. But apparently WWE is very interested in Dalton Castle. And apparently his contract is coming up soon.
Yes. This is where I was going to go with the Adam Cole thing. So one of the biggest rumors on the indie scene right now is a major Ring of Honor star is signing with WWE at the end of the summer. And this is not Adam Cole, baby. It comes on the heels of knowing that Dalton Castle's contract comes up at the end of the month. So at the end of June, we're going to see a free agent in Dalton Castle.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of, I guess the end of the summer is August?
September.
July, August?
Yeah. Like that.
Maybe. So that gives 3 months? 3 months or so? For a possible Dalton Castle? But, and they said major Ring of Honor stars. So the other major Ring of Honor stars we have are what used to be the team Redragon, Kyle O'Reilly, and Bobby Fish. I don't think they're coming up anytime soon, or they might just be freelancers the way Cody Rhodes is, I'm not sure. But we have a few Ring of Honor stars that could possibly be moving over. What does a Dalton Castle in NXT look like? Does it look like Dalton Castle?
I don't know. I feel like in NXT, he might be able to get away with his current gimmick the best.
Mm-hmm.
I would say if he eventually gets caught, which he will, gets caught up to the main roster, I feel like his gimmick kind of mimics too much of Breezango or Tyler Breeze-esque gimmick. So at that,
okay,
it's a little bit similar.
Yeah, but it's a lot better.
Oh yeah, absolutely a lot better.
It's a lot more polished. I mean, he if he were picked up by WWE, WWE, he would be main roster ready right now. And he wouldn't need to spend any time in NXT.
No.
Yeah, he's main roster ready now. What possible gimmick do you think they would give him though if he can't be Dalton Castle?
Well, see, that's the thing is I don't really know because these guys on the indie scene have made a name for themselves.
Especially him.
Yeah, especially him. And the idea of changing said gimmick is crazy. I mean,
yeah.
He's made a brand for him. His brand is his gimmick.
Yeah.
And if
say without Dalton Castle's gimmick right now, you don't have the thing that makes you want to buy him, buy out his contract.
Exactly.
It's like all the people that are moving to Nashville, and then they say we want to get rid of all this live music. Then why don't you move to Nashville? Sorry, that's a little thing that's going on in Nashville. It's okay. Don't worry about
it.
Truth. So yeah, that's a possibility, or we could see a Kyle O'Reilly or a Bobby Fish. I don't know if you know anything about Kyle O'Reilly or Bobby Fish, but both of them are really good as well. But Dalton Castle's probably the one that's most likely.
Yeah, it seems like he'd be probably a good fit too.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He is ridiculously awesome. Does that mean we get to see the boys? His little tag team guys that kind of follow him around, kind of like the Singh brothers for the Maharaja.
Yeah, I don't know about that. It seems like that they're mainly just interested in Dalton Castle.
I mean, if you get that, you take that gimmick, you take the whole gimmick. That's what I would do with that gimmick. I don't know. I really love Dalton Castle. I love his whole bravado. I love the way he like shows his suit at the beginning of every match. That is amazing. And I don't know. I want to see him at least in one match in some random thing like a Wrestle Circus, which is amazing. Or any different other things. I know that when I texted or tweeted at Wrestle Circus, they said, I said, I want to see a Dalton Castle match. Dalton Castle versus Joey Ryan. Speaking of Joey Ryan. And they said, well, we can't. He's exclusive to Ring of Honor. But soon. So hopefully we'll see something like that. That'd be really cool. And then, I guess, speaking of other major things, Ron Cloud, what was that text that Corey Graves got in the middle of the broadcast? You know what I'm talking about?
I cannot remember, but refresh our memories.
So Corey Graves, they're sitting there talking about a match, and then Corey Graves just gets up and walks away. He got a text, and he went to talk to everybody's favorite Olympian and everybody's favorite commissioner of Raw. You know who I'm talking about, Ron Cloud?
Mr. Angle.
Yes, sir. He got a text saying that Kurt Angle was basically a bad commissioner, bad guy, bad whatever he's called. And so I don't know where this leads, but there is some speculation that it could be a Triple H or William Regal because of the words that were said in the text, but that it's not very good. we could be seeing the birth of a new faction, with Corey Graves heading it up. And this also leads to everybody's favorite pipsqueak from New Jersey, Enzo Amore, getting all beat up. You know what's going on with that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Everybody thinks it's the Revival, but it could be somebody else. It could be Colin Cassidy. They could be breaking up that tag team. We don't know. But we could see Corey Graves going into running a faction within the WWE, and this faction being headed up by actually Triple H or William Regal or something like that, because the words are a little too flowery for a Triple H, but the William Regal, I don't know, it could be kind of hard for William Regal to run a faction like that. Let's see what that text said.
I'm sorry, what'd you say?
I said, let me grab what that text was.
Okay.
Real quick. We're going to see what Corey Graves said. So basically, they found some scandalous information, and I don't know. I'm not sure. I can't find it. Oh, here it is. So he read the text to him. He read the very end of the text to him, and Kurt Angle said, if anybody finds out about this, it could ruin me. And then he read the end of it, and it said that Kurt Angle has besmirched his status as an Olympic gold medalist. So we don't know what's going on. Any speculations?
I don't know. I can't think of. I'm sure
Anything.
that. I don't know.
I can't think of anything either that he could have done.
Yeah.
But another thing about where I was going with this about Corey Graves possibly leading a faction of some sort, we could see something like, last week he said he wants to shake the hand of the person that beat up Enzo Amore. And then Thursday of last week, a photo was leaked of Corey Graves and Colin Cassidy giving each other a handshake. So I don't know where this leads, but I have a feeling we're going to start seeing some strange things happening at Blake Halsey High. And by Blake Halsey High, I don't mean the TV show from the Disney Channel from 1999, but I mean Raw, everybody's favorite television show on Monday. So, I don't know. Do we see Colin Cassidy and Enzo Amore breaking up? Do we see Enzo Amore going to the 205 Live? Do we see Enzo getting the shaft? What do we see?
I don't know. Enzo and Cass haven't really been a thing in a while, it feels like, at this point. They've not really been on the precipice of anything, so it wouldn't be out of the ordinary or out of the realm of thought that they would break that tag team up. Everybody knows that Colin Cassidy is due for a singles push because of his size.
Yeah.
So,
but he's not so good on the mic, though. It's kind of hard.
He's not, but neither is Jinder Mahal. So
that's true.
It would.
But people want that. They don't like to do things that people want.
This is also true. So I would say I don't know. It could be Colin Cassidy that jumped him. It could be somebody else. I don't know. But if it is Colin Cassidy, I see Enzo probably just getting the shaft.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he's not going to end up on 205 Live. For one thing, he's
really not good enough in the ring.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He doesn't have the skills to be on 205 Live.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing that his bread and butter's the mic.
Neither one of them. Yeah. Neither one of them are good enough to be alone. Like, Colin Cassidy's not good enough to talk, and Enzo Amore is not good enough to fight. So, I mean, they're both okay, but together they're gold. Apart, they're brass.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's the best way to put that. So, I don't know. I don't want to see them break up, but I want to see them get pushed better. But they're not gonna get pushed. Nobody's gonna get pushed as long as the Hardys have the title. And I hate to say that too, but that's kind of how that's gonna be.
I mean, it's just how it's got to go.
Unfortunately. Yeah, unfortunately. So that's that. I guess we could end on a somber note. Last thing. So the Raw's numbers have been down. They were down this past week. I know everybody's having barbecues and doing all that stuff and doing all the things, but their numbers were way down. Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer said it's probably because there's too much content. And like we said at the top of the hour, the joke that Mr. Ryan Cloud made over there, that he was kind of burnt out. So Dave Meltzer is in agreement with you. Well, Dave Meltzer doesn't agree with you all that often. Or you don't agree with Dave Meltzer all that often. I don't know. We're not as popular as Dave Meltzer, so I'm not going to make that assumption. But Ryan Cloud, you don't tend to be on the same page as Dave Meltzer all that often. But in this case, you and him are on the same. Y'all work from the same sheet of music. Is it burnt out?
Absolutely. I mean, I get there is such thing as too much of a good thing, and what we've seen with the WWE because of this brand split is there's no rest in between anything. I mean, you have a pay-per-view, 2 weeks later you have another one, and another one, and it just keeps going, and going. And it comes to a point to where
some weeks you have like 3 pay-per-views.
Yeah. I mean, you have NXT on Saturday, you have, a Raw pay-per-view, you have an ROH pay-per-view. I mean,
this past week or 2 weeks ago, you had NXT, you had the UK tournament, which they actually finally showed, and then you had Backlash.
Yeah.
You had 3 pay-per-views, one after another, and you also had a Ring of Honor one the week before.
Yeah, I mean,
there is a pay-per-view every week.
Yeah, I mean, and it's crazy because I don't know if you don't have time to really take a breath and digest what you've just absorbed, then you just get tired of it. I mean, like for example, this past week, I was busy and there were some things that I missed, and it's not like
doing Illuminati shit. It's okay.
It happens. And it's not. There was never much pressure of, oh my God, I've got to do this, that, or the other. Because there's just so much content to digest in the first place. And I mean, I know the fans have to be feeling it. I feel like there's the same thing going over in MMA with the UFC, where there's an event constantly, and you get burned out.
There is an MMA pay-per-view, or there's a UFC pay-per-view every other when there's not a WWE pay-per-view, there is an UFC pay-per-view. It's like they like collaborated on their schedules to knock out other things like Bellator and the other promotions. I don't know. They say they don't like each other, but I'm pretty sure that they very much like each other.
Well, like with the UFC now, I mean, we had a UFC pay-per-view. I think it was last week.
Yep.
You have a UFC on FX or Fight Night, whatever you want to call it, this Saturday, and then you have the finale of something like a week from then, and it becomes a point where there's just too much, and you just get burnt out. And what happens when you get burnt out? There's a need to see exciting stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like there's that need, like I'm bored because I've been watching this constantly now. I need something exciting to happen, and when it doesn't, it's just a letdown.
Yeah. I mean, there is another argument to be made, though. The viewership of TV in general is down overall. So I mean that could be the reason.
Oh yeah.
But that, even with that, when you factor in that, it was still really low this past week. Forbes magazine, they said the thing to do is possibly going to a 2-hour show on Monday. I mean, that could be it. And with these slipping numbers, though, a representative from USA said they don't know if they're going to offer WWE a third hour come 2018, 2019, when they have to renegotiate contracts for Monday. Does that fix the problem?
That could fix the problem, but at the same time, I don't know exactly how the numbers are, how they fix those or whatever, but
numbers per segment, you mean?
Yeah, numbers per segment.
Let me throw this out to you before you continue, though. Ever since they've switched to that 3-hour time frame, the numbers have been slipping, and they start to peter off around hour 2. They don't even watch the main events a lot of times.
And exactly. And one of the things, just to kind of slightly piggyback off that, is the fact that you don't necessarily have to watch the whole show. I mean, in today's, in today's time, I guess, I don't know, it's a bad word.
Climate?
In today's climate, there's so many ways that you can absorb it. I mean, for example, Hulu. I mean, you don't have to watch an entire live broadcast of Raw. You could just wait till the next day, watch it on Hulu, and I'm pretty sure those numbers that episode of Raw on Hulu, and you don't even have to finish the whole episode when you watch it live.
Mm-hmm.
So
you get the highlights.
Yeah, and
90-minute highlights instead of
the 90
3 hours.
So I mean, you have some people doing that as well, and that hurts your numbers also, because I mean those don't count with what they're getting live, and with your different Sling TVs and all this other stuff where people are cutting the cord, sort of like you said, there's just not a whole lot of cable television. People aren't using cable television as they used to, basically.
Right. Now wrestling, WWE in general, but wrestling, that content is the highest rated content, or has the highest ratings on all cable. Like, that's because it's live. That was their selling point to USA when they got that third hour, was it's something that can't be DVR'd because it has to be watched live. A lot of people were with that up until this past year or so. The DVR numbers and the watching on Hulu numbers and the watching on YouTube numbers have skyrocketed. And a lot of that is from these foreign markets that they have as well. The online, watching it online, the DVR numbers are here in the U.S., but the watching online numbers have skyrocketed, and they're from outside foreign markets like India. Like, that number's gone up some ridiculous amount since Jinder Mahal's been in charge of the things. And but that might hurt their their brand deal with USA, but it doesn't necessarily hurt them in general, if you get where I'm going.
Yeah.
Like, it's just a shift in the way that it's being consumed. And I don't think they will never be without a TV deal, but it's a matter of how it gets changed. It's going to shift in the next year or so. And this so much content, there's just too much. It's hard to keep up.
Too much of anything.
Yeah, exactly. And they're saying that it's good for the fans, but I don't think it's good for the casual fan that just wants to watch Raw. it's good for the hardcore fan that all they want to do is eat, sleep, breathe wrestling. But for the casual fan, it's not it. It's just hard. It's not like the Attitude Era where you could just pick up and be like, yeah, this is awesome, and then not think about it for the rest of the week. You don't have to watch SmackDown. SmackDown, nothing really happened. All you had to do was watch Raw, and if you wanted to get some extra stuff going on, you could watch SmackDown, or you could watch Main Event or Superstars. But none of those other shows mattered, and you could just pick up and go. Now you've got to, in order to stay involved, you've got to watch Raw. That's 3 hours. You've got to watch SmackDown. That's 2 hours. You've got to watch Talking Smack. That's an extra 30 minutes. You've got to watch NXT. You've got to watch 205 Live. And that's one. How many hours is that? That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then if you have a pay-per-view, you've got at least 3 more hours, if not 8 more hours, depending on which the pay-per-view is.
Yeah.
And then you've got another 3 hours if there's an NXT pay-per-view. So that's, what is that like?
It's a minimum of 12 hours.
I was going to say between 12 and 20 hours of content in 1 week, and that's just WWE. If you're watching anything else, like TNA, that's 2 more hours. And if TNA has a pay-per-view, that's another 3 hours. If Ring of Honor, if you're watching Ring of Honor, that's another hour. And then you've got Ring of Honor has a pay-per-view. That is between 3 hours and 9 hours of pay-per-view to watch. So that's over like 5. That's over 4 days of content, depending on what the week is. If it's WrestleMania week, you have ridiculous amounts of content to consume if you're trying to keep up with all the storylines and all that. And that bars that bars New Japan, that bars Lucha Underground too, because those are both kind of foreign promotions. If you're only watching U.S. promotions, and Lucha Underground is only barely U.S. because it's part of AAA, or at least it's slightly associated with AAA, and that's another hour of content too. It's gonna be hard. And speaking of that, though, New Japan is going to be having the G1 tournament here, New Japan North American G1 tournament, where they're introducing a U.S. title. What do you think about that?
I think that gives us something else to watch.
Yeah. I don't know if we should cover it, but possibly we might. I don't know. But it's going to be the G1 USA tournament. I don't know if that's going to be a U.S. We're going to start having a U.S. show, or that's just they're running the U.S. title for New Japan, and it's still going to be basically in Japan. I don't know. Not really sure what's going to happen with that, but we're going to see I have a feeling it's going to be Kenny Omega that takes that title and runs with it, because USA, he's their best gaijin. He's their most well-known gaijin. So that's where that's probably going to lead. I don't know. Do you know any other random rumors?
Not that I could think of.
All right. Well, I think that's enough for the week. It's a lot. It's a lot. A lot of stuff.
A lot of stuff happening.
So, yeah. Ryan Cloud, best performer of the week.
Best performer of the week.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to probably stick with WWE and just go with Samoa Joe. I mean,
okay.
He's been on the roll lately, and, he's got that momentum going into Extreme Rules.
Good pick. I like it. Best match of the week.
Reigns Rollins.
Okay. I like it. You've already given us the rules or the reason for that, so we don't need to extend. Yeah. So, who should we be watching for, and what match, and who should we be watching for? What storyline and what person should we be watching for?
I've not got a chance to, like I said, really to sit down and watch it, but from what you just told us, I'm gonna go with the Mac and
Johnny Mundo.
John Morrison. Johnny Mundo. We'll call him Johnny Mundo. So that's what I would look for. I mean, from what you described as a heck of a match, I'm gonna probably go watch it shortly, and just to see who comes out with that belt
it's gonna be awesome.
Yes.
And what person should we be watching for this coming up week? Who do you think's gonna perform the best this coming week?
Oh,
Samoa Joe.
Probably Samoa Joe.
Yeah. Okay, I can see that. I see where you're going with this. On my end, I'm going with best match of the week, Johnny Mundo, the Mac. That thing was ridiculous. Best match of the week. Go back, watch that. Check it out on El Rey Network. If you've got the Xfinity app or any of those things, it's on there. It's great. Check it out. Best match of the week. Who was the best performer of the week? I'm gonna go with I guess Samoa Joe, and he's also the one you should probably be watching out for this week. Something is gonna happen big. I have a feeling he's gonna take something at Extreme Rules. There's something big's gonna happen with him. Don't know. Just a feeling. And then let's see. What match or what storyline should you be watching for this coming up week? I guess I'm gonna go with since I already picked the match as the best of the week, I'm gonna see where these titles float around over in Lucha Underground. It's the beginning of the season, so it's gonna be awesome. We're gonna see something crazy happen over there too. Johnny Mundo, Son of Havoc, Matt Cross. I miss Taya. She's one of my favorite female wrestlers. We're going to see Taya get back in there because wherever Johnny Mundo goes, Taya usually isn't that far behind. So we're going to see something awesome over there as well. That's where we need to go. That's where you need to head it out. Go check out El Rey Network. Check out Lucha Underground. Rock Cloud, got anything for the fans of the Shooting Star Press? Any closing words?
All I got to say is check us out on all of the things.
Exactly. You'll find those links in the description below. Hit us up on Podbean, Pod, Sorella, Pod, everything. All the things with Pod in the name. Don't worry about it. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. We don't have an Instagram. Well, check out my Instagram. It's cool. Anyway, don't forget to stay awesome and don't hit your neck when you're doing a flip.